Hi, this is Talia from Talia's Crochet Creations, and today I'll be walking you through how to create or crochet the Genesis beanie. So I'm using Lion Brand's Wool Ease Thick and Quick. It's a weight 6 super bulky yarn, and it calls for a 9mm hook. However, we will be using an 11.5mm hook for this pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to find where the yarn starts. And now that I have, I'm just going to get a good amount and start with my slip knot. Insert my hook into the slip knot, and I'm going to chain 23. So this pattern is worked the amount of chains is going to be the length of the beanie. So I'm chaining 23 as the pattern calls for, and that should give me about 11 inches or so. You can chain as long or as short as you want. You can adjust the size by chaining more or less. Just remember that the amount of chains equals the length of your hat. Just going to grab some more yarn and then we'll continue. So you want to work in the second chain from your hook. So the loop that's on your hook does not count as a chain. So that's your first chain, and then you're going to work into your second chain. So you're just going to single crochet into the second chain and continue all the way down until you reach your last 3 chains. Once you've gotten to your last 3, you're going to slip stitch into the last 3. So insert your hook into that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and just draw it through the loop on your hook. Insert, yarn over, and pull through the chain, and then pull through that loop on your hook, and you just do that one more time, and you'll have your slip stitches. So you're going to, and the slip stitch end is the top of your hat. So you're going to chain 1 and turn. For the slip stitches, you want to work loosely as much as possible because they're kind of tight, but you're going to work through the back loops of your slip stitches. So go ahead and insert your hook into the back loop and create your first slip stitch, and you're going to do that twice more. Now you're going to work your single crochets through the back loop only, all the way down until you get to your last stitch. So now that we've gotten to the last stitch in the row, instead of working through the back loops, you're going to go through both loops. And that's to ensure that you keep a straight edge. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn. So your first and last single crochets are always worked through both loops. And then you continue all the way down to the slip stitch and working in the back loops only. Single crochet, and then we're going to work the last 3 slip stitches through the back loop only. And chain 1 and turn your work. And you're just going to keep repeating those 2 rows. You're going to slip stitch in the back loop only of your first 3 slip stitches, and then single crochet in the back loop only for 18 stitches, and then once you get to your last stitch, you're going to single crochet through both loops. Ribbing start to take effect, and the top of your hat is slimmer. So I continue off camera and just repeated those 2 rows until I got to 15 inches. You can go a little further or stop wherever you want. Just keep in mind that it may take more yarn. So the bottom edge, which is the single crochet edge, measures approximately 15 inches. And you can, it's a bit smaller than my head size is 21 inches. So it's a lot smaller because the ribbon gives a lot of stretch. So that's up to you. You can judge how big or small you want it. So go ahead and we're going to join. Go ahead and insert your hook into that first stitch on the opposite end and line it up. And we're going to slip stitch through the back loops only. So each row has that outward stitch, and that's where we're going to work our joins. So work your slip stitches to join both ends together. And this technique gives it a ribbing look. So this now becomes your wrong side. Even though it blends in, it becomes your wrong side, and once you flip it on the opposite side, it'll look like the pattern itself. Make sure you keep your edges in line so you have an even, it turns out even once you get to the top of your hat. There's a gap right there once, so that's where you did your that's where you began your chaining. So you work right into that hole to close the gap, and that's where you do your last slip stitch for the join. So go ahead and cut your yarn at long enough to sew the top of the hat closed. You're going to fasten off there just for security. And there, that's the seaming that I showed that we match the ribbon pattern. So go ahead and thread your yarn needle. And you're just going to work that yarn tail in and out the top of the slip stitches. And you can pull as you go along or wait until you get to the end. But just work in and out of each slip stitch. it's not going to close entirely on its own. So what you're going to do is sew the gap closed. So I keep it tight and then try to go around the outer parts of it to keep pulling it tighter, since we've already worked a little lower. So I just go out those outward bumps to keep it tight and pull as I go. And you can keep turning around to see if there's any gaps. Once there are any gaping holes, then you're free to fasten off or tie off and leaving all the remaining ends. Pretty much there is all to making the beanie. So you just flip it over on the right side and you fold it in, and there you have it. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email. As you can see, it's quite stretchy. You can shoot me an email if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.